Millionaire discovers heartwarming secret. Twin girls with luggage spark a life-changing journey. Jack Mitchell was the kind of guy everyone admired. At 42, he was a towering figure in the corporate world, celebrated for his jaw-dropping success and the lavish lifestyle that accompanied it. He lived in a sprawling suburban house, complete with manicured lawns and a Mercedes in the driveway. But today, something felt different. The air was chilly and biting as he strolled through the crowded bus station, lost in thoughts of profits and targets. That was when he saw them twin girls, Mia and Emma, struggling with oversized backpacks, their tiny bodies swaying under the weight. Their hopeful eyes sparkled like stars in a dark night, drawing Jack in like a moth to a flame. Curiosity swirled within him as he approached. "Where are you headed?" he asked, his smooth voice cutting through the hum of the station. The girls chirped excitedly about an adventure to their grandmother's house, their voices bubbling over with joy. Yet beneath the sweetness lay a layer of resilient stories of hardship that squeezed at Jack's heart. He could feel the emptiness of his own life juxtaposed against their unfettered dreams. How could they be so optimistic? He wondered, realizing how far removed from that spirit he had become. Caught off guard, Jack felt an unexpected tug, a sensation that hadn't graced him in years. "Can I treat you to dinner?" he offered almost on impulse. The twins' faces lit up, and before he knew it, they were seated in a cozy little diner, laughter bubbling like the hot chocolate being poured. Jack found himself entranced, listening to the tales of their life, tales that were seasoned with the spice of perseverance. Each word painted a picture of a reality far from his own, where love fought through layers of adversity. The contrast shook him to his core. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. As Jack absorbed their stories, he noticed the twinkle in their eyes, a fire of determination that he had long extinguished in his own life. The more they shared, the more he recognized the barriers holding him back from true connection. The diner hugged them in a warmth that felt like family. Jack left with a heavy heart but a newfound awareness. With that spark ignited, he couldn't shake the vision of Mia and Emma. The bustling life he led, filled with meetings and boardrooms, suddenly seemed hollow. He resolved to host a community fundraiser, a gesture that was meant to unify the neighborhood and shed light on struggles faced by families like the twins. But as he dove deeper, he faced scrutiny. Neighbors questioned his motives, dismissing him as just another wealthy outsider trying to fix problems he didn't understand. And just when he was beginning to grasp the weight of community, a devastating call forced him to confront his own privilege. Their grandmother was struggling too. Jack found himself at a crossroads, torn between his charitable intentions and the growing fears that enveloped him. The burden of impact lay heavily upon his shoulders, and as the clock ticked, Jack wondered, could he truly make a difference in a world so unbalanced? As Jack sat in his sleek office late into the night, the glow of his computer screen illuminated the worry etched in his brow. A million thoughts raced through his mind, overlapping like the sounds of the city below. The fundraiser loomed ahead, yet instead of excitement, all he felt was dread. Would anyone show up? Would they see it as a mere publicity stunt? He thought of Mia and Emma, their bright smiles clashing against the stark reality that their grandmother was barely making ends meet. He was determined to help, but how? A sudden ping from his phone pulled him back to reality. It was a message from an old friend, inviting him to a charity gala next week. Jack's heart raced. Perhaps this was an opportunity, a chance to connect with others who cared about making a difference. He could arrange for the gala to be a starting point for his own fundraiser, garnering support from influential members of the community. But darker thoughts clouded his mind, whispering doubts that left him feeling frozen. What if they don't take me seriously? He thought, shaking his head. Determined to quiet the noise in his mind, he took a deep breath and pictured the twins. His imagination conjured their laughter, the way their eyes lit up as they shared their dreams. Inspired, Jack began to draft a proposal for his event, pouring his heart onto the page like he hadn't in years. The outline was simple yet poignant. A community gathering filled with stories, games, and a call to action. Each detail fell into place as if guided by a force beyond his grasp. The next morning, Jack awoke energized, fueled by a sense of purpose stronger than any business deal he had ever closed. He called upon organizers, local businesses, and potential sponsors, articulating a vision that transcended profit margins. Some were hesitant, born from skepticism, while others were swiftly on board. An unexpected wave of support blossomed as word spread through the neighborhood. Despite setbacks, doubts began to fade. Yet, as the date approached, a new worry emerged. Jack had woven himself into these girls' lives. But was he ready for the revelations that lay ahead? He glanced through the community notice board on his way to the car, flyers fluttering like hopeful flags. Just then, his phone buzzed. It was Mia's grandmother. The message was short, but it sent chills down his spine. "Can we talk, please? I need your help." His heart raced as he dialed her number. The tension crackled in the air as he stepped into the car. Jack's mind raced ahead. What could she want? Had he misread the situation? Was the burden of change too heavy for one man? He swallowed hard, knowing this was about more than fundraising. As he drove, he realized that this conversation had the potential to shift everything. The textile of his safe, orderly world was beginning to unravel, revealing threads woven with complexity and truth. With each passing block, Jack grappled with the weight of responsibility. Was he the right person to take on what was about to unfold? Finally, he arrived at the rundown building where the twins lived. It looked different today, brimming with life but masked by the shadows of hardship. As he pulled himself together, he couldn't help but wonder what truths lay ahead, waiting to be uncovered. Jack stepped out of his car, the familiar sounds of the bustling neighborhood enveloping him. The air was thick with anticipation, but beneath that, he could feel the weight of uncertainty pressing down on him like a leaden blanket. He felt a mix of resolve and anxiety as he made his way toward the entrance, each footfall echoing the questions spinning in his head. As he reached the door, he paused for a moment, glancing around. Children played on the sidewalk, their gleeful laughter seeping into his heart. Despite the harsh realities of life in this neighborhood, there was a vibrant energy here that reminded him why he had taken on this challenge in the first place. With a deep breath, he knocked. The door creaked open, revealing Mia's grandmother, her eyes tired but shining with gratitude. "Thank you for coming, Jack," she said softly, stepping aside to let him in. The apartment felt small and cluttered, a jumble of toys and household items that spoke of love amid struggle. Mia and Emma played quietly in the corner, their giggles weaving into the fabric of the room. Jack's heart warmed at the sight of them, their innocence a reminder of what was at stake. "Please, sit," the grandmother urged, gesturing to a worn couch. Jack settled in, trying to mask his nervousness. "I appreciate you reaching out," he said, meeting her gaze. She fiddled with her hands, betraying her nerves. "I know you're planning a fundraiser," she began, her voice steadying. "But I wanted to talk about something else, something personal." Jack could feel his heart racing again. Was there more to the girl's story than he realized? The thought sent a shiver down his spine. "What is it?" he asked gently. Her voice dropped to a whisper, as if the walls were listening. "I've been struggling more than I let on. The girls were so excited about your event, but I don't think it'll be enough. Our rent is overdue, and I might not be able to keep the roof over our heads much longer." The words hit Jack like a punch. He wasn't just raising funds for a community gathering. He was standing on the precipice of someone else's reality. "I'm here to help," he said, his voice firm but kind. "We'll figure this out together." Tears shimmered in the grandmother's eyes. "I don't want to burden you, Jack. You have your own life, and I feel like I'm asking so much." Jack shook his head. "You're not a burden. You're family now," he said, his heart pulsing with certainty. The bond he felt with the girls had transformed into something deeper. Mia and Emma turned their heads, sensing the change in the atmosphere. The twins moved closer, their innocent curiosity echoing in the quiet. Jack knelt down, holding out his hand. "Hey, you two. I'm here to help your grandma and make sure we can all keep smiling together. Okay?" Mia's face broke into a radiant smile, revealing the hope that shone from within her. But Emma, the quieter twin, looked down, her brow furrowed in worry. Jack felt the weight of their fragile hopes resting on his shoulders. What if he failed them? What if this was too much for him to handle? The grandmother glanced at him, her expression fraught with both gratitude and fear. "I can't let them suffer because of my mistakes," she whispered, her voice cracking. At that moment, Jack realized this was not just about the fundraiser or raising money, it was about creating a support system forged in love, resilience, and faith. He took another deep breath. "Let us gather the community. Let us make this fundraiser something that brings everyone together, something more than just money. We can raise awareness, touch people's hearts." As he spoke, he felt the solid ground beneath his feet begin to shift. Ideas began tumbling into his mind, fueling a vision so clear that it took his breath away. But would the community respond? Just then, Mia tugged at his sleeve. "Will everyone be there?" she asked, hope glimmering in her eyes. Jack nodded, his heart swelling with conviction. "Everyone who cares will be there. You just wait and see." Yet, even as he reassured her, a gnawing doubt began to creep back in. Would he truly be able to gather the support they needed? Stepping out of the apartment, Jack felt an unexpected calm wash over him. He had the chance to stand up for something bigger than himself. With people counting on him, the gauntlet was thrown down. What would be the first step in rallying the community to their cause? The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden hue over the neighborhood as Jack walked down the stairs and out into the lively streets. He could still feel the weight of the grandmother's words heavy in his chest. They were real and urgent, slipping into his thoughts like a whisper he couldn't ignore. This wasn't just about numbers, but about lives. As he strolled along the sidewalk, Jack's mind began to race with ideas. First, he would need a venue, somewhere central where everyone would feel welcome. Maybe the community center? He could already see the space filled with neighbors, friends, and strangers all gathered for a common cause. Suddenly, a group of teenagers zoomed past him on bikes, laughter ringing out like cheerful bells. They reminded him of his own youth when the world felt lighter, simpler. He shook his head, capturing the warmth of those carefree days, then recalled the uncertainty Mia's grandmother faced. His heart sank but also ignited with determination. With a newfound resolve, Jack pulled out his phone, fingers hovering over the contacts. He knew he had to gather as much support as possible. The local businesses, the parks department, volunteers, he needed everyone on board. Pressing a button, he dialed his friend Sam, a local bar owner with a big heart. "Sam, I need your help, Jack." "Of course. What's up?" Sam's enthusiastic voice filled his ear. "I'm organizing a fundraiser for a family in the neighborhood, Mia and Emma's family. They're facing eviction." There was a beat of silence before Sam replied. "I'll step up. Tell me what you need." Jack could hear the notes of excitement in Sam's voice. "Thanks, man. I just know it'll be more than an event. We could make it a block party, bring together food, games, music. It'll feel like a celebration of our community." "That's a fantastic idea," Sam exclaimed. "I can reach out to our regulars and get donations. We'll set up a donation box at the bar." Jack felt a flicker of hope ignite inside him, thoughts racing about how they could involve local musicians and food trucks. "Let us meet up tomorrow. I'll bring a list of what we can do and who we can approach." "Got it. I'll clear my schedule. This is going to be amazing." The warmth of Sam's excitement spread through Jack, and for the first time, he felt like maybe they could pull this off. As he hung up, Jack couldn't shake the image of Mia's hopeful eyes from his mind. He wanted this more than anything. But as the frenzy of ideas began swirling through his head, a moment of doubt crept in again. What if the turnout was low? What if people didn't care? Taking a deep breath, he pushed the worry to the back, focusing instead on what mattered. He had to remain a beacon of hope for Mia and Emma. His next stop was the community center. He needed to speak to someone who could help arrange the space. Perhaps talking directly to the director would inspire him to allow their fundraiser to take over the courtyard. With determination fueling his steps, he headed toward the center, envisioning a vibrant scene, a sea of smiling faces, laughter, and community spirit that could warm even the coldest hearts. Arriving at the center, he pushed the door open, the bright hall teeming with activity queuing up in a way that made him feel energized. He approached the reception desk, ready to explain his idea, when a sudden muffled cry broke his focus. He turned, discovering a young boy sitting on the ground, tears streaming down his face. Before he even processed the situation, Jack's heart surged. This was another reminder of the struggles around him, of the urgency to transform their challenges into a source of strength. What if this moment, right here, was a pivotal point that could spark something even larger than the fundraiser? Jack knelt beside the boy, ready to offer more than comforting words. What if today was the start of something extraordinary, not just for a few but for the entire community? What awaited him just beyond this moment? Jack's heart thudded as he kneeled next to the boy. "Hey there, buddy, what's wrong?" he asked gently, trying to meet the boy's tear-filled gaze. The boy sniffled, wiping his cheeks with the back of his hand. "I lost my puppy. He ran away, and I can't find him anywhere." Jack swallowed hard, the boy's pain ripping through him. He understood that feeling of loss all too well. "Okay, let us find him together," he said, his voice steady. In that moment, the fundraiser slipped to the back of his mind as he noticed the boy nodding, hope sparking through his tears. "Really?" The boy blinked in disbelief. "Absolutely. What's his name?" Jack asked, standing up. The boy jumped to his feet, swiping his cheeks, and regained some of his spark. "Biscuit," he exclaimed. "He is small and brown with a white patch on his ear. He loves to chase squirrels." Jack grinned, energized by the mission at hand. "All right, let us start where you last saw him. Lead the way." They rushed outside, the neighborhood buzzing with summer activity. But Jack's focus was solely on the little boy beside him. They hollered Biscuit's name, the youth and urgency flowing between them like a current. As they moved together, laughter echoed, blending with frantic yet hopeful calls. It was a moment of connection, revealing the collective heartbeat of their community struggles and joys harmonizing in an unspoken agreement. Just then, as they rounded the corner toward a small park, a flash of movement caught Jack's eye. Through the small trees, a furry creature bounded playfully, pausing to sniff the ground. "Biscuit!" Jack's heart raced as he spotted the desired pup. "There!" he shouted, rushing forward with the boy right beside him. The boy barreled past Jack as he squatted low, extending both hands. "Biscuit! Come here, boy!" he cried, voice filled with pure excitement. The dog turned, ears perked as if hearing his name like a magic spell. He dashed towards them, tail wagging wildly, bringing an instant relief and joy to the boy's face. Jack's heart swelled as he watched the reunion unfold, a moment he knew he would cherish forever. As the boy scooped Biscuit into his arms, his laughter rang out, pulling anyone nearby into the shared joy. Jack felt lighter, experiencing the kind of happiness that surpassed anything he had wished for that day. Thank you," the boy said, looking up at Jack with wide, grateful eyes. "You're a hero." The warmth washed over Jack as he knelt once more. "No need to thank me. Just glad I could help. The real hero is you for not giving up." But in that moment, with the boy grateful and Biscuit safe, a familiar pit of responsibility tugged at Jack's gut. All the ideas for the fundraiser flooded back, and soon so did those nagging doubts. Sure, he could carry this moment forward, a single act of kindness, yet there was something larger, something they could create together. As the boy carried Biscuit away, Jack took note of the people gathering around, their faces brightening with smiles, with shared relief. This was community in its purest forms, and suddenly, those precious connections felt like the emotional fuel he needed to ignite the fundraiser. He stood watching, a thought forming in his mind. Would sharing these little moments amplify what he had hoped for the fundraiser? If they could capture this unity and goodwill, Could others be moved to help Mia and Emma just as they had helped him find Biscuit? Determined, Jack took a deep breath. He would make the community feel every heartbeat, every connection that made their lives extraordinary. Just like Biscuit's return did for that boy. With a newfound sense of initiative, he pulled out his phone once more, fueled by the fire inside him. He would take the stories of their lives, of small victories and caring gestures, and weave them into the fabric of his mission. He began to text Sam, suggesting they not only fundraise but share the stories that united them. Talk of the hidden heroes behind the smiles in their community. It was a plan blossoming with potential. But as he typed, he glanced at the park. Subtle stir tugging at his curiosity. Was there something more behind the sea of smiles? Something deeper waiting to be uncovered? Jack's fingers paused over the screen, everything around him fading into a blur. The laughter and excitement trailed off, leaving a curious hum in the air. He looked around the park, taking in the faces of adults chatting, kids playing, and dogs romping about. That's when he noticed them, two little girls, no older than 6, dressed in matching pink shirts stained with ice cream. They stood a bit apart from the others, clutching tattered luggage that looked far too big for their tiny frames. Their dark eyes were wide, scanning the park as if searching for something lost, or someone. A twinge of concern tightened Jack's chest. Without thinking, he began walking toward them, a protective instinct blooming deep inside. As he approached, the girls turned in unison, their expressions shifting from uncertainty to surprise. "Hey there," Jack said gently, kneeling to their level. "What are your names?" "Emma," the girl on the left replied softly, her gaze darting to her sister. "And Mia," the other girl added quietly, clutching the handle of her suitcase. "Hi Emma and Mia," Jack said, his heart sinking as he noticed how they fidgeted with their bags. "What are you doing all the way out here with those big suitcases?" The girls exchanged glances, and Jack could see the tentative bond of sisterhood in their eyes. They huddled closer together, nearly hiding behind 2 large bags. "We're looking for our mommy," Emma said finally, her voice trembling. Jack's stomach dropped. "Oh no, where did you last see her?" "In the grocery store," Mia chimed in, her voice barely above a whisper, "but we got lost." Jack felt a wave of urgency wash over him, matching the anxiety in their eyes. "All right, we'll find her. Okay? Just take a deep breath." He wanted to comfort them, but panic was creeping into Jack's own heart. How had these little girls ended up alone? "Can I help you carry those?" he asked, gesturing to the heavy bags. The suitcases looked weighted down with memories and perhaps dreams that had been packed tightly, ready for whatever journey awaited. Emma shook her head. "They're ours. We have to take them." Jack nodded, acknowledging their independence, but still felt a twinge of sadness. Those bags seemed to hold more than just clothes. They represented the unknown, perhaps even loss and yearning. He wanted to understand more about them, but there was no time to delve deeper. "Okay, let us stick together," he said firmly, standing up again. "Where do you think your mommy might be now?" "Maybe she went home," Mia said, hope flickering in her voice. "She always says to wait at home if we get lost." Jack felt a surge of determination. "Then let us go to your house." The girls nodded, hope rekindling in their bright eyes. As they started walking, Jack realized this moment was just as pivotal as the earlier one with Biscuit. Maybe, just maybe, their stories were entwined. Despite the urgency driving him, something nagged at Jack. Who were these girls? What had brought them here alone with those bags? He felt snippets of their lives tugging at him, whispering promises of deeper connections and lessons about resilience. As they walked, the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the park. An idea sparked in Jack's mind. This was more than just a journey for the girls. It was a chance for everyone to come together, to uncover the bonds that defined their lives. "Emma and Mia," he said casually, feeling the impulse to connect. "Do you think your mommy would want to hear about our adventure today?" The girls glanced at each other, uncertainty creeping back. "Maybe, but we can't talk to her on the phone." "We don't have a phone," Emma confessed. Jack felt a pang at the innocent truth in her words. What if they didn't only need to find their mom, but a steady connection to those around them? As he glanced back at the crowd, he couldn't shake the feeling this moment was about to change everything, with a spark igniting in his heart and a vision crystallizing. Jack took a deep breath. What if we shared your story with everyone at the fundraiser? You could be the stars, the jewel of the evening. Excitement lit up their faces, but there was still a flicker of doubt in Mia's gaze. But what if they don't want to hear? As that question hung in the air, Jack felt the gravity of their situation settle in. What lay behind the hidden smiles? Could he really bridge the gap between them? A sense of hope surged as they reached the park's edge. Jack glanced at the girls, their tiny hands still clutching the luggage, and knew that he was on the precipice of something grand. What stories would unfold if they took this leap together? As they ventured forward into the unknown, Jack's heart raced with potential and the sweet thrill of uncovering more than he ever imagined. What other hearts were waiting to be touched? As they walked towards the street, the fading sunlight painted the sky in hues of gold and pink, casting a warm glow over Jack, Emma, and Mia. The gentle breeze played with the girls' hair, but the weight of the suitcases seemed heavier with each step. Jack kept glancing down at them, feeling the mix of worry and determination rise within him. Do you two live far from here? He asked, trying to distract them from any fears they might have about being lost. Not too far, Mia replied, peering past her sister. Just a few blocks away. Can you show me the way? Jack encouraged, hoping to maintain their spark of excitement. Emma nodded, pointing ahead. We just follow this road and turn left at the big tree. Jack felt relieved. They weren't too far from safety after all. Great, let us get moving then. Their strides were filled with urgency, but Jack could see the flickers of joy returning to the girls. He could almost hear the rhythm of their little hearts syncing with his own, each beat echoing a shared purpose. He was not just a stranger helping two young girls anymore. He was becoming part of their story. Can I ask you something about your mommy? Jack ventured, wanting to understand them more. Both girls looked at him, Emma wide-eyed while Mia cautiously nodded. What does she do? Jack asked gently. She makes cupcakes, Emma exclaimed, a hint of pride in her voice. She says she puts magic in them. Magic? Jack smiled, intrigued. What kind? She sprinkles love on them, Mia said, giggling softly as they walked. And she always hums when she bakes. Jack couldn't help but laugh with them. I bet those cupcakes are the best in the world. Would it be okay if I try one someday? Maybe, Emma said, scrunching her nose playfully. Only if you're nice. I'll be the nicest, Jack promised, trying to make them feel more at ease. As they approached the tree marked by its gnarled branches, Jack began to wonder more about their life. How did they end up alone? Was their mother in trouble? Jack's heart tightened at the thought, but he banished the darkness lingering in his mind, focusing instead on the warmth radiating from the girls. Once they reached the tree, Jack noticed their energy shifted. The street was quiet. Jack could feel the air thickening with tension, and he could tell they were both holding something back. What is it? He asked softly, kneeling down again to their level. Emma hesitated, biting her lip. We might have to tell Mommy what happened. Jack felt a jolt of understanding. They were thinking about facing their mom, and it would be more than just a simple reunion. It could be a pivotal moment. You're right. She'll want to know the truth. But what if we share how brave you two were today? Both girls smiled, but their uncertainty lingered. Do you think she'll be proud? Mia whispered. I know she will be, Jack reassured them. I can be right there with you, holding your hands when you tell her. You're not alone in this. The light returned to their eyes, a flicker of hope igniting the shadows of doubt. They started walking again, and as they turned onto the last street, Jack caught a glimpse of a small house nestled at the end, its front porch decorated with colorful flowers and a bright blue door that almost seemed to beckon them forward. As they reached the door, Jack took a deep breath, and the world fell silent for just a moment. This moment was important, more than just a return home. It was a chance to unravel the pieces of their shared journey. What if she doesn't want to see us? Emma whispered, her small voice trembling. Then we'll remind her how much love is in our hearts, Jack said, squeezing her little hand gently. Everyone deserves a chance to feel loved. and just as he raised his hand to knock, the door swung open. Jack's heart raced. The moment of truth had arrived. What would unfold once they faced the reality behind that door? Jack felt a rush of warmth wash over him as he met the gaze of a woman standing in the doorway. Her eyes, wide with disbelief, quickly filled with tears. It was as if she had been waiting, holding her breath for this moment. "Mama!" Emma cried out, breaking the spell of silence. The young girl rushed forward, leaving her suitcase behind, and threw her arms around their mother. Mia followed close behind, her little hands trembling as they reached out for their mother. "We were so scared," she murmured into the embrace. Jack remained just outside the door, feeling like an intruder in this emotional reunion. He wanted to give them space, but he also wanted to witness this moment. It was mesmerizing, the way a mother's love bloomed in instinctive warmth, enveloping her daughters in an unconditional embrace. "Sweetheart, what happened? Are you okay?" Their mother's voice trembled as she pulled back just enough to look at their faces, checking for any signs of distress. "We made a new friend." Emma beamed, her eyes shimmering with excitement and relief. "This is Jack." Jack stepped forward, lifting a hand in greeting, even as he felt slightly shy under her scrutinizing gaze. "Hi, Maram. I found them a few blocks away. They were just lost." "Lost?" The word seemed to hit their mother like a wave crashing against the shore. "Oh my God. My girls, I was so worried." She knelt down, tears glistening on her cheeks. "I didn't know where to find you." "I thought it's okay, Mommy," Mia interrupted, leaning into Emma and squeezing her sister's hand. "We were brave and Jack helped us." The mother's expression softened, and Jack could see the swelling pride in her eyes. "You were so brave, my sweet girls." Jack felt a knot loosen in his chest. Maybe this reunion would go well after all. The air between them buzzed with love and relief, intertwining their worlds. "Thank you for helping them," she said, her voice steadying. "I don't even know how to express my gratitude. Just knowing they're safe is enough," Jack replied, feeling a swell of warmth himself. His heart was full somehow. He belonged here in this moment, even if just for a little while. But as the warm atmosphere enveloped them, shadows from the past hovered at the edges. "I saw something strange in the alley when they were with me," Jack admitted, his throat tightening. "I think it's important to tell you." The mother's eyes narrowed slightly, fear flashing across her face. "What do you mean, strange?" "There were men, a couple of them, lurking around. I don't want to scare you," but Jack hesitated. He sensed the tension shifting, the calm dissipating. "What do you mean, lurking?" the mother asked, her voice sharp and alert. It was clear that the previously warm reunion was unraveling, shadows of concern weaving their way into the fabric of love. Emma and Mia exchanged glances, their earlier joy beginning to flicker in the presence of uncertainty. Jack wanted to reassure them, to tell them everything would be okay. The door creaked a little wider as the woman stepped forward, her protective instincts kicking in. "Are you trying to say there's danger?" "Yes," Jack replied, feeling the weight of his words. "I just don't want to keep anything from you." Panic washed over their mother, her thoughts racing as she turned back to her daughters. "Girls, we have to talk. No more playing outside without me." Jack's heart ached for the children. They had just found their mother again, only to be confronted by hidden dangers. Suddenly, the innocent spark of a joyous reunion had transformed into a swirling storm of questions and fears. Jack felt the urgency swell in the air. "I'll help you," he promised, "whatever it takes." As he spoke those words, the shadows from the alley faded but left a chilling thought in the back of his mind. What else was waiting to be uncovered? And just then, from somewhere at the edge of the street, a distant voice echoed through the stillness. "There they are." Jack's pulse quickened. Who were they coming for? What had he unwittingly dragged them back into? He turned back to the family, determination igniting within him. They weren't done yet, not by a long shot. The confrontation was just beginning. Jack's heart raced as he turned back to the family, feeling the weight of the moment. He quickly scanned the street, searching for the source of that unsettling voice. The sun hung low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the pavement. A chill crept into the air, swirling with an unshakable tension that stung at the back of his neck. "Who is that?" their mother asked, her eyes darting nervously, her protective instincts flaring back up. Jack could feel her fear. It clenched tightly around him, thick as fog. "They might have been the ones I saw by the alley," he said quietly, scanning the street again. "We should move inside, quickly." He glanced down at Emma and Mia. Their innocent faces, once so full of joy, had turned pale. The excitement of the reunion was swiftly overshadowed by the looming threat that loomed just out of sight. "Come on, girls," their mother urged, her voice steely but gently guiding. "Let us get inside." They hurried into the house, Jack following closely behind, doors slamming shut behind them with a solid thud. He felt a surge of urgency. They were safe for now, but the echo of that voice hung in the air like an ominous cloud. "Stay close," their mother whispered, wrapping protective arms around her daughters. Jack felt the impulse to reassure them, to somehow take away the fear he could see etched on their faces. "Listen," Jack began, kneeling so he was at eye level with the girls. "I know it's scary, but you're safe now. I promise you that. Just stay close to your mom." Emma looked up at him, her eyes wide, vulnerability piercing through the brave front she tried to maintain. "What if they come after us?" she asked. "They won tea," he said, trying to inject some confidence into his voice. But even as he spoke, uncertainty gnawed at him. He needed to know more, and he needed to act fast. The mother looked at Jack, her anxiety visible. "What do we do now? Should I call the police?" Jack shook his head. "Not yet. Let me check outside first." He took a deep breath, the musty scent of the living room wrapping around him. He carefully moved toward the window, pulling the curtain aside just a crack. The street was empty, eerily still, but he couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. "Jack?" Mia whispered, her small voice filled with trepidation. "Are you sure we're okay?" He wanted to say yes. He wanted to assure her with all the conviction he could muster. "We'll be fine. Just hold on," he replied, his own heart pounding with uncertainty. Suddenly, another voice broke through the silence, louder this time, echoing from the alley. "They can't hide from us." Jack's breath hitched. The words were like ice water trailing down his spine. The realization that they weren't done yet, that this was just the beginning of something far more alarming, settled heavily within him. What do they want?" the mother whispered, her voice quavering. Jack turned from the window, adrenaline pumping through his veins. "I don't know," he admitted, "but we have to find out." There was a sudden knock at the door. Jack's heart raced. The family's eyes widened in fear. "Stay back," he shouted. He glanced at their mother, who was clutching her daughters tightly. The house, which had felt like a sanctuary moments before, suddenly felt like a trap. He made a decision now, one that he hoped wouldn't lead them further down this already dark path. "Whatever happens, we face this together," he said, determination shining in his eyes. "Let us find out what they want." As Jack steeled himself for what was to come, another muffled voice echoed more urgently from outside. "Open up. We know you're in there." He felt that sense of dread return, but at the same time, a flicker of bravery ignited because the first step toward uncovering the truth was often the bravest one of all. With that thought in mind, he moved toward the door, realizing with a sinking feeling that the answers they sought were just outside, waiting. As Jack stood at the door, a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions coursed through him. He could sense the anxiety radiating from Mia and Emma. Their mom's grip on them was tight, protective, loving, but tinged with fear. "Stay close," he urged them again, feeling the weight of responsibility settle squarely on his shoulders. He brushed his fingers nervously across the handle, another knock sounding even louder now, punctuating the silence. "Open up, we just want to talk," an unfamiliar voice called out from the darkness. Jack's heart raced. "Just talk?" But the urgency in their voice hinted that this could be more than a friendly conversation. He glanced back, meeting the worried eyes of their mother. "What should we do?" she whispered. The tense atmosphere thickened, her authority faltering in the face of uncertainty. Jack took a deep breath. We can't hide. We have to face this. His own words surprised him, but deep down, he understood they needed clarity, however daunting it might appear. Okay. She nodded, bolstered by his resolve. With one last glance at the girls, Jack steadied himself and turned the doorknob. As he opened the door, the dim light from the street illuminated two figures on the porch, their silhouettes casting long, intimidating shadows in the fading twilight. "What do you want?" Jack demanded, trying to sound more composed than he felt. "Just a chat," one of them said smoothly, but Jack could see through the mask of casualness. There was an edge there, a weight of urgency he couldn't ignore. "Who are you?" he pressed, flicking a glance back at the family. The fear in their eyes invigorated him, pushing away the flutter of self-doubt. "What do you want with them?" The taller figure shifted uneasily. "We don't mean any harm. We just need to clarify some things." Jack clenched his fists, blocking their view of the girls instinctively. "You're not welcome here. Whatever you want, it's over. Leave them alone." "Now hold on. We're not here to threaten anyone," the second figure interjected, an insincere smile on their lips. "We just have a situation to resolve. Concerns your friend over there." They motioned toward the girls. Jack shook his head. The air was thick with tension, like a taut string stretched to its limit. "You don't need to involve them. They've been through enough. Just one simple question," the first individual said, their tone softer, making it sound almost benign. "Where are the cupcakes?" Jack frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" "Your neighbor," the second one pointed out, frustration seeping into their voice, "the woman who bakes their mother. She's indebted to us, and if she can't pay up, things will get ugly." Jack felt his heart sink. There were layers of dependency. He wasn't aware of threats lurking behind the innocent facade of cupcakes and sprinkles. What do you want from her?" "Just a little cooperation, and we can ensure everything stays happy." "You don't want anything to happen to the girls?" Jack's blood ran cold. This wasn't just about the girls anymore. It was a broader threat against their family, tied in with the danger that lingered in the shadows. "Get off my porch." Jack's voice was steady now, fierce with a newfound determination. "You stay away from them." The first figure raised an eyebrow, unfazed by Jack's resolve. "You don't want to make this harder than it has to be. Then leave," Jack shouted, taking a step forward, ready to stand his ground for the family behind him. "If any of you come near them again, I'll make sure you regret it." The figures exchanged a glance, the tension palpable in the air. Just then, Mia pulled at Jack's sleeve, her little voice shaking. "What's happening, Jack?" He turned to her, crouching down to meet her gaze, trying to mask his own fear. "It's okay, Mia. Just stay with your mom. I've got this." The figures began to retreat slightly, though their narrowed eyes promised future confrontation. "This isn't over," the second one hissed, turning to run into the dark. After they vanished from sight, Jack turned back, feeling the shakiness in his own legs. The gravity of what just happened hit him. He had wanted to be a protector, a beacon of safety, but the shadows they faced were more tangled than he had imagined. "Mia, Emma, are you okay?" he asked, his voice steadier now. Their mother pulled them closer, holding them protectively against her. Her eyes were wide, dark circles revealing a tale of sleepless nights. "I'm sorry, girls. I never wanted you to see this." Jack stepped back, the pieces of the puzzle coming together. This wasn't only about safety. It was about breaking an unseen cycle of fear and control. "I will help. I promise you this will change." Their mother wiped her tears. "But how?" "We need to gather help," he replied, urgency flooding his voice. "We can't face these shadows alone. We need our community." The girls nodded cautiously, their innocent determination sparking an ember of hope in the air. "What do we need to do?" Mia asked, her small voice cutting through the heaviness. Jack took a deep breath, remembering the warmth of laughter, the connection they had felt just moments ago. "We'll make sure the community knows what's happening. We'll turn the fear into strength." With newfound determination, the three of them embraced, the comforting warmth binding them together. It sparked a possibility to change, to heal, to face the unknown with unwavering courage. Jack felt the world shift. He wasn't just confronting danger. He was cultivating a network of love and resilience amidst the chaos. "We're gonna fight this," he said, his voice ringing firm. "And we're going to win." And as they huddled together, the shadows receded a little more, replaced by the flicker of hope that heralded a new beginning. One built on love, courage, and unity. Now was the time to connect, to stand tall, and to let their community shine as a beacon of light. If you're ready for stories about resilience, love, and the strength of community, subscribe immediately to the channel. You need to subscribe now so you won't miss out on the exciting transformations yet to come. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support for stories that matter. Comment below and share your thoughts, reactions, and feelings about this powerful ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video. Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to feel this wave of transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.